Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a special video based on a user-submitted topic. Now, every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, people send in questions via Super Chat and tips, but every once in a while, somebody sends in like a really big Super Chat or tip, and when it's like $50 or more, I like to honor that by answering the question in its own standalone video, and that's what we're going to do right now by getting to a question sent in to us by Michael Loreno, who writes, "Hey John, do you think Disney is happy with Kathleen Kennedy's Star Wars trilogy when it's all said and done? I fear the end result has caused a civil war amongst fans. I know they made billions of dollars, but I fear it may have damaged Star Wars long term." All right, thanks a lot for sending in that question, man. And listen, I have my opinions on Kathy Kennedy. I've talked about this at length. Just quick highlights though here. From my personal point of view, she is one of the greatest producers in the history of Hollywood. You know, we've got people like Steven Spielberg who said she's the most single gifted. He's the greatest filmmaker of all time, saying she's like one of the most gifted producers, if not the most gifted producer he's ever worked with. She's a legend in this business. She has produced some of the greatest all-time films ever made, and a hell of a lot of them. And you know, she was handpicked by George Lucas to lead Lucasfilm afterwards. And I certainly like most of the Star Wars films that have come out under her leadership there. I do not like The Rise of Skywalker, but that's fine. I know a lot of other people do. Totally cool. A lot of movies I like, a lot of movies I don't like, no big deal. My issues with Kathy Kennedy, though, and I count myself as a Kathleen Kennedy fan, but I've said for a long time I've got one particular issue, but then there's another one as well. The one main particular issue that I've had is, as a studio head, your main job is to make sure that you bring on board filmmakers that are 100% on the same page with you, that you are 100% on the same page with them, and that you guys have a clear, shared understanding of where you want your movies to go, and that you vet them before you bring them on and announce them to the world. And Kathy Kennedy has gone through multiple directors that have left after they've already been announced because of creative difference and all that kind of stuff. And we don't have to go through all of that stuff again. It's all well documented, all those situations. And to me, that's the most important job. And I think she has struggled greatly at that. My other concern that's really come up, and this really stood out to me after watching, I felt it a little bit in The Rise of Skywalker, or The Last Jedi, I should say, but it really came home for me in The Rise of Skywalker, which is, I believe Kathy Kennedy approached this job as a producer. And as a producer, her goal has always been to facilitate, empower, and enable a director to bring their vision to life. That's what she's seen her job as a producer to do, to empower and enable and facilitate and put the director in the best position possible to succeed, to bring their film to life. And that's great as a producer. I contend she needed to approach these sets of movies as what she is, a studio head. She's not just a producer. She's a studio head now. And as a studio head, her job is not to empower each director to do whatever they want to do. Her job is to make sure everybody's on the same page and make sure we have a story planned out before we start shooting these things. And I think she dropped the ball on that. Again, I'm not going to, gang up on her or start calling her names or anything because of it. I just think that's one of the areas that she dropped the ball on, and I think it's become apparent. But to the bottom line of the question is, do I think Disney's happy with her? And no one wants to hear this answer, and nobody wants to believe this answer, but the answer to that question is, yeah, Disney's pretty happy with her. The bottom line is, and this is what it always is for business, and this is what it is for every studio, the bottom line is, are the projects under her leadership making the studio money? Are the projects under her leadership making the studio money? And they are now 5 movies in, and after being into it by 5 movies now, the 3 episodic ones, and of course we've also got Solo, and we've got The Rise of Rogue One. They are averaging over $1 billion a film. Now, to put that into context, we make a big deal, rightfully so, about the fact that Kevin Feige's MCU films are all averaging over $1 billion and how insane that it is and how incredible that is, and rightfully so, we should. Nobody likes to admit, but the fact is, I'm not making an observation, I'm just telling you this is a fact. Under her reign, the 5 films under her reign, Star Wars films are averaging more money than Kevin Feige's Marvel films. Again, you draw whatever conclusion you want from that. I'm just saying. From a business point of view, and again, I'm not saying whether you should be happy with her. I'm not saying whether you shouldn't be happy with her. But you're asking me, do I think Disney, the company, is happy with one of their division leaders bringing in that kind of money? And the answer is, yeah, I believe that they are. I believe that they are happy. Now, you raised the point that, they've caused a civil war amongst Star Wars fans. Well, the reason that exists is because that half the people or more, actually really it's more than half the people, really enjoy these films. And there's a significant group of people who don't enjoy those films. But that's what happens. It is what it is. And you can make an argument that there's almost nothing any filmmaker could have done to come in that would have made everybody happy. Maybe yes, maybe no, but that kind of becomes a secondary issue at this point. The reality is a lot of people love these films, and the proof is in this. Look, after The Last Jedi, and I like The Last Jedi. I have issues with it, but I like it. But there's a lot of people who don't. But there are a lot of people who just pronounced very assuredly that, as a result of The Last Jedi, the next Star Wars movie was going to completely tank. That Episode 9 is going to completely tank. Well, right now, we are just ending the third weekend. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, has just finished its third weekend. And it's already at almost $920 million. So it's easily going to climb over that $1 billion mark again. I mean, it's not going to hit 1.5 or anything like that. But it's going to climb over that $1 billion mark. And it's going to be yet another $1 billion film for them, despite the fact that a lot of people were doomsaying and saying it's going to flop, it's going to blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. Well, here we are, another $1 billion film. So, again, I have my issues with Kathy Kennedy. I'm still a fan, but I think there are some fundamental mistakes she's made as she's approached the Star Wars films. I don't think that's worth calling her names over, but, there it is. But the bottom line is, from a business point of view, they've made money. Now, everybody can play the little game of, well, it should have made more money. Well, okay, fine, but the bottom line is they made the money. And you can be happy with it. I could be happy with it or unhappy with it. You can be happy with it or unhappy with it. The bottom line is, if you're asking me how I think Disney feels about it, I think Disney's just looking at the bottom line, seeing how much money these films are bringing in, and I think they're pretty happy. But anyway, that's just my perspective on it. You guys may think completely differently, and that's the great thing about being film fans of this business, so we can all have different opinions and share our opinions together. So the question is, guys, what do you think? Put aside whether you love or whether you hate the new Star Wars movies. Put that totally aside. Do you think Disney's happy with it? Jump down into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, that will do it for me for this video. Thank you so much for being here. My name's John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.